Welcome to Film Scene, the show that takes you behind the scenes of our shoots at Creative Edge Productions. I'm your host, Tony Reale, Director of Photography, joined as always by our intrepid crew, Jimmy DeGroat, Creative Director, and Sean Bowers, Director of Post-Production. We were asked to do a shoot for a church in Green Bay, and we wanted to do something interesting and dynamic. They didn't want it to seem like a traditional church environment, and they had this great windowed area in their foyer. So I decided that's where we're going to shoot. We're going to use that as our backdrop. Now, windows and sunlight are a lot of difficulty to work with, which means you have to deal with a lot of light to key a subject with. So we used our 8-foot by 8-foot butterfly frame as our soft key light. This allows us to use a very large key source and also be able to pump a lot of light into it. My goal was to use as much light as we could without having to tie into any mainline systems. This can be a challenge that any shooter is working with. If they have to work with 5Ks or 16K lights, they're going to have to tie into the mains, and this could be a huge difficulty. So instead what we used were some Par 64 lights. Each one was 1,000 watts, and we were able to send these each to their own separate circuit. To add some dynamic movement to the shot, we used our Kessler crane Dolly, and that allowed us to add some great dollying parallax. I decided to shoot with my FS700 and a 24-70 lens, which allowed me to punch in and out for close-ups and wide shots without having to stop the talent. We were going to do several takes, so this wasn't a worry about accidentally punching in mid-take. For audio, we used our Rode NTG2 Boompole, which allowed us to get great range without having to use a lavalier. I wanted to make sure that we were getting the right exposure, so not only did I need to make sure my key light was right, but I also needed to make sure we weren't overexposing the background by too much. I'm noticing here that we're getting still way too much overexposure on the backdrop, so we brought in our 2K Mole light and added that. Here we have a total of 6,000 watts of light being pumped in. The great thing about this though, we're going through the standard circuits of the business without having to run any 220 power. Our complete lighting setup included our 8x8 butterfly frame with 6,000 total watts of tungsten light going into it. I decided to also add a hair light, but I needed to have it well enough out of the frame so that the stand wouldn't be in there. This was easy with our Matthews Mini Max stand. I put a 1K RE light on there, and that added a great hair light. And then at camera right, I added a 1200 watt HMI Fresnel. We had 4 100-foot stingers, also known as extension cords, which allowed us to go separate circuits for each of the par lights. Each of these cords were rated for 1600 watts, so they were able to easily handle the 1000 watt requirement for each light, and we were able to run it to separate circuits so we weren't overloading a single circuit. By putting this all into the 8x8 butterfly frame, we were able to create one light out of several sources. With everything set up, we had a great backlight, key light, and nice kicker from camera right. I didn't mind mixing daylight and tungsten temperatures because it gave a nice warm tone and really fit well with the style of the video that we were shooting. By having a nice boom pole, we're easily able to extend the shotgun mic to exactly the place that we need it. And we have a great grip head holder so that we don't have to have our boom pole operator standing there the entire time. Now that everything is set up, we're ready for talent. We test out the camera move and the blocking to make sure that nothing is in the way and that everything works correctly, and we're ready to go. All in all, we had a fantastic shoot. We were able to get a really nice key and still use the background without blowing it out too much. We had a really nice bright sunny look to it, which is exactly the look we wanted for this video, but we were able to keep it to the right exposure so we weren't completely blowing out the background. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe for future episodes of Film Scene, along with other episodes of DV TV and our gear reviews. And feel free to check out Creative Edge Productions to see our work.